Adrian Nuñez, and you're watching Mary Jane News. As more states legalize cannabis and the industry continues to bloom in the U.S., law enforcement is slowly but surely changing its ways when it comes to pot policing. As it stands, 26 states and Washington, D.C. have marijuana legalized in some form, with more states to come. Since marijuana has been legalized, the standard war on drugs style of enforcement on cannabis is becoming obsolete. Here's how legal weed is affecting policing today. One of the many qualms that police have with legal weed is their inability to accurately detect someone's intoxication levels. Weed is obviously much different than alcohol, so a standard breathalyzer cannot detect the levels of THC in a person. Police in California have introduced a mouth swab method that tests saliva for a number of substances, marijuana among them. However, the level of intoxication cannot be determined without a blood test. A blood test is also tricky because it cannot detect current levels of intoxication in a person. In other words, everyday smokers could get busted for a DUI without even being high behind the wheel, since THC stays in your system days after consumption. So police will certainly need someone to develop an accurate method if they're going to keep the road safe. Police searches have dropped drastically in states where weed is legal. Routine traffic stops and searches have long been a mainstay of the war on drugs. And the faint odor of marijuana justifies a full-on invasion of your privacy. Since marijuana has become legal and cops can no longer use it to launch an investigation, states like Washington saw a 50% drop in police searches, while Colorado saw a gradual dip in searches by 30%. Since the cops have no incentive to search vehicles for weed, they're stopping less drivers without serious warrant. A new study from the Pew Research Center that surveyed 8,000 police officers shows that nearly two-thirds of cops approve legalization in some form. One of the reasons for law enforcement's shift of opinion on pot legalization is that it will help them focus on more serious crimes. Of course, the real war on drugs can be focused on America's opioid crisis as well as the dangerous black market for trafficking narcotics. Before legalization, lighting up in public meant a trip to the slammer. While those days are long gone for legal states, smoking weed in public still garners a hefty fine from police, but they can't arrest you or seize your stash. In states where recreational weed is legal, the general rule of thumb is that a person can legally possess up to 1 ounce of marijuana on their person. Cops can only arrest you and seize your green if you're holding more than an ounce or if they believe you have intent to sell. Man's best friend is usually a welcome sight for people, but when it comes to police, drug-sniffing canines sticking their nose in your business can be a harrowing experience we wouldn't wish on our worst enemy. However, with weed laws changing across the country, police will have to replace canine officers, or at the very least retrain their olfactory systems. Why, you ask? Well, narco-pup police are trained to sniff out any and all illegal substances, including marijuana. So, it's time to usher in a new class of McGruff crime dogs. That's it for now, but for all your cannabis culture news, stay tuned to Mary Jane.